Welcome, movie lovers. I'm Lisa,
And I'm Sarah.
and we are two sisters who love watching and talking about movies. Today, we're going to talk about My Man Godfrey. My Man Godfrey is a 1936 film by Universal Pictures. It was directed by Gregory LaCava and stars William Powell and Carole Lombard. Basically, the movie shows us what would happen if you hired a homeless guy as a butler and you were a mega rich family. So I know that this could probably go in a bad way. It could go good or bad. In this movie, it's hilarious. So this is why I like this film. It's a bit absurd, very loud, and it just makes me laugh the whole way. So I've always watched this movie like maybe once every 2 years. I just watch My Man Godfrey.
Yeah, I also remember watching this movie a lot as a kid. Rewatching it now, it's like there were a lot of jokes that I just recognize them right away. And what's really amazing is that I remember it made me laugh then, and it made me just laugh out loud now. And that's kind of like, that's what makes this movie pretty special. That it's really funny, and I think it really holds up.
So what I really love about this movie are the quotes. So Irene has, of course, I think in the moments where she's all like depressed and she says overly dramatic things, I think those are the most hilarious quotes. But you could take quotes from anyone. You could take it from William Powell, or that's his actor name. Godfrey.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it's fine. Godfrey. Yes,
Godfrey. Godfrey or Cornelia, and the mother as well. They all, and of course Carlo. Everyone just has really fun quotes. That's what I really like about it.
Definitely. Super quotable. So, My Man Godfrey is a very fun comedy. We have the Bullock family living on Park Avenue in New York City. They are rich and eccentric. And as we mentioned, each family member is a hoot, very quotable. They each have their own personalities and stereotypes. And in the middle of it all, we have Godfrey, who was previously a homeless man living in the dumps. He acquired his new job as a butler for the Bullock family after Mr. Bullock's daughter, Irene, played by Carole Lombard, after she met Godfrey during a scavenger hunt when she was looking for a forgotten man. So after finding this forgotten man, Godfrey, Irene decides she likes him a lot, and she offers him a job as their butler. And now the movie becomes about Godfrey observing the Bullock family, while we also learn a little bit more about Godfrey's background. My Man Godfrey is a screwball comedy. That is the genre that it falls under. Screwball comedies were a popular genre in the 1930s and 40s. And basically, the term screwball comedy means that the typical male and female roles in a relationship are challenged, thus ensuing in comedy. So, for example, you could have like a very dominant woman in a relationship, and you start writing the comedy and the jokes around that kind of setup. Other screwball comedies are It Happened One Night and our favorite Bringing Up Baby. The movie is based on a novel written by Eric Hatch, who also worked on the screenplay. And an interesting fact is that the two lead actors of this movie used to be married. It was William Powell and Carole Lombard. They were married before they made this film, and supposedly they remained friends after their divorce, and William Powell even wanted her to play the role of Irene for this movie. Oh. So they were still working friends, and anyway, I thought that was a really fun fact, because they are, in the movie, they are kind of the two romantic leads, or the will they, won't they. But, okay.
Oh, I'm looking at her history, and then she married Clark Gable.
Yes, she did.
And then she died.
Yes, she did. I know. I wasn't going to mention that, but
Okay, sorry. Okay. I was like, no wonder I haven't seen her in other movies.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's
This is her big movie. Her big movie. Then is this the biggest
no.
movie that?
I think she had some other movies too. She's pretty big, but yes, her career was cut very short. But
Well,
yeah,
all the more reason to watch this.
yes, all the
in
more reason, definitely.
honor of Carole Lombard.
I think for me, it's that because I see pictures of her in other movies, and she looks very different in My Man Godfrey because she has the bangs in the front. Because I keep thinking, why can't I like recognize her? Or maybe it's just me, but I think her hairstyle definitely it adds to the Irene character, and it also just makes her look a little different. But anyway, she's amazing. As for awards for My Man Godfrey, it had 6 Academy Award nominations, but sadly no wins. We have Best Actor William Powell, Best Actress Carole Lombard, Best Supporting Actor Mischa Auer, who plays Carlo, Best Supporting Actress Alice Brady, who plays Angelica, the mom, Best Direction Gregory LaCava, Best Screenplay Eric Hatch and Maury Reiskind. I gotta run through these names before it's okay. I don't know. I need to make sure I know how to pronounce all these names. I thought I was doing really good. Last little bits of history. We have there was a 1957 remake of My Man Godfrey by Universal Films. Yeah, starring David Niven and June Allison. And My Man Godfrey is number 44 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Laughs, ranking the best American comedy films. So, those are all very compelling reasons to watch My Man Godfrey. And I wanted to share with you, Lisa, I found a video of bloopers from My Man Godfrey, which I thought were really fun.
Oh my god!
Seeing kind of these actors kind of in their just how these actors were is really good. Okay,
Let's do it.
You don't know how nice it is having some intelligent person around. Oh, now! Oh, sit down and talk to me. I like to talk in the morning when your head is clear, particularly when you've been someplace, some Christ knows when, some other night. Christ in the middle of it.
Ah, God.
Oh. I don't like that shit. Yes, I know it was, but I stunk up the... No, not only does it make me have something to think of. I got that far. Holy Jesus Christ.
Oh, what? Christ, where am I? Something could be done that might make it possible for these fellas in the wintertime to have a better break than I have living down here in this goddamn stinking dump. Hello, Godfrey.
Hey, you can put the gloves in. Nuts. I'm bitch.
Come on, quick. You buy that
Vulgar.
one.
I like it.
yeah.
You give him bang up, damn it. God damn it. I'll you son of a bitch.
Anyway, that's really fun. Yes.
I can see there being a lot of like people like the whole film is very verbal. You're talking all the time. It's like nonstop talk. Everyone is. So I can see them just getting so tired of making mistakes because it's just nonstop. Especially with Lombard, her character is just. She talks 1,000 miles an hour. So I feel bad that she has to like do that every day, all the time, and when she makes a mistake, she's like, okay, I have to start all over again, the whole paragraph or 5 paragraphs that she has in a scene.
Yeah, they're really long, definitely really long,
very long
lines. Not only that, it's just being kind of, I mean, the style of a lot of older movies, I feel like there is more dialogue in them already in general. So then add on top of that yes, her character has all these run-on sentences. Yeah. This is really challenging.
Now when I look up other bloopers, I have not thought of that. Look up films I've seen when I was little, those older films. Now that it's available, like it would have never been available before. So now it's like, I'm sure they have.
I think it's probably in archives somewhere if some of them have survived. I think I've seen some other ones too. So getting into the movie, so we'll tell you a little bit about the beginning. It starts with the scavenger hunt. We have Cornelia and Irene, who are the 2 daughters in the Bullock family. So they're on a scavenger hunt, and one of the things they have to find is a forgotten man. And they find Godfrey in the dumps, a homeless man. They find him. Irene brings him to the scavenger hunt, and eventually she ends up offering him the job as a butler because she takes fancy to him or just likes him. Yeah, pretty much.
She just likes him off the bat.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's see. I had something to say about the scavenger hunt. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so this scavenger hunt, I feel like, is the most disorganized scavenger hunt I've ever seen. Not that I've seen a whole lot of them in my life, but maybe just in movies. But you have all those... right.
The scavenger hunt is like... I mean, I've never seen something like that before. I mean, the idea of a forgotten man, like, what? Like, what do you have to find a forgotten man? Yeah.
It's interesting that, like, because you could have interpreted, okay, forgotten man.
Like,
feel
what
like
is
they
that?
could have, it was kind of up to interpretation. So they took it kind of, the way they interpreted
That's
it was
true.
literally a let's find, some homeless guy. But they probably could have brought a picture of someone who's deceased or, like.
That's very interesting, Sarah. I've never thought of that before. That's an open to interpretation. Doesn't have to be homeless guy. Yeah.
But, it, as we learn in the movie, it ends up being, it's a very thematic idea of, like, what does it mean to be a forgotten man? It makes you think of that. But anyway, so I guess scavenger hunts are supposed to be a little chaotic, but when all the rich people were running into the Waldorf Hotel, and then there was someone with, like, a goat, and everyone was talking all at once, and all these rich people. Have you ever done a scavenger hunt?
That is like, so
Not that one.
Yeah, to give context, like, so basically this scavenger hunt that they start off with is for, like, insanely rich people.
You're
So
right.
that's why it's so absurd. Like, they want people to go all over New York and find crazy stuff, like, what was that, a Japanese, some sort of weird fish. I forgot what that was. The fish, and then a goat, and then a forgotten man, like, was one, and then I don't think I remember any other, but just very weird. I think I saw, like, a bird in the background, like, so all these rich people who are probably super bored with their life because there's nothing better to do than crazy scavenger hunt. But that's the whole point of the movie. Like, what do like insanely rich people do? What are their limits? And yeah,
it's true.
They have no in this family, they have no limits. It's like, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
Next, I don't know, because they're all like, they just have, they do whatever they want. Like, take a homeless guy home as a butler. Like, they do whatever they want.
So we end up meeting the entire Bullock family shortly after Godfrey is hired. And all right, so we'll start with the dad, Mr. Bullock. I forgot his first name. Mr. Bullock, he is constantly holding interventions, trying to rein the family in on their spending, trying to keep their lifestyle afloat. And I love one of the first quotes that you hear him say is he finds out there's a horse in the study after the whole night before with the scavenger hunt and the partying and all that. And so, he's asking his daughters, why is there a horse in the study? Or who broke it was Cornelia, right? That got accused of breaking the windows. There's someone came to inform the dad.
Yeah.
And he's just losing it, and he's just like...
But he's losing it, but he's still like, oh, this is a normal day. Because he's like, the guy's like, hands him this paper. Oh, someone in your family broke some windows on Park Avenue or something. And you're like, all right.
Yeah.
And then the horse thing in the library. And I mean, of course, he's like, but there's a horse in the library. But this is normal for this family. So,
yeah.
Mr. Bullock seems to be the one that's the most put together or doesn't do crazy things.
He's the only voice of reason. So this is
the only one.
Well, I mean,
Godfrey.
Godfrey
is too.
Aside from Godfrey, but so that's Mr. Bullock. We have Mrs. Bullock, whose name is also Angelica. She is pretty eccentric. She's
all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place. She's just thoughts literally just flowing out of her, unfiltered. Sometimes doesn't make sense. Oblivious. She's an oblivious mother, I would say, but she's still pretty kind. Still kind of cares about her daughters, even though she's like, oh really?
Yeah, she just she likes. It seems like she likes to pamper her daughters, give them what they want, whatever. As long as you're happy, everyone's happy. And so she's just in her protege, I guess.
Yeah.
You're gonna introduce him. Is happy too.
We could
Carlo.
introduce him to Mrs. Bullock. She's also, while she's walking around spewing out. It's funny. That's probably where Irene gets her paragraphs from the mom.
The way she talks. Mm-hmm.
Except, Irene's are a little more. You can say they're poetic or sillier.
Yeah.
Anyway, well,
so, that's true. Poetic,
it
sillier.
Depends how you interpret it.
No, I would say the way she phrases things are very entertaining. So I would definitely say more entertaining speeches. Yeah.
I think it's because she's trying to say like poetic or deep things, but yet she's like super rich, and in the context of like in her life, that's what comes across as like really silly. But Mrs. Bullock, she's always walking around with this cute little dog as well. And Mrs. Bullock has her protege, Carlo. She is sponsoring this musician who plays piano and eats and philosophizes. Yes, his quotes.
He's always reading in the corner.
Yeah,
reading in the corner of the house, just surveying the scene. Like he's one of the crazy family. He's just hanging out.
But I feel like I relate and I sympathize with him.
With Carlo?
Yeah, definitely. Because he's just like, here's the whole family yelling and everything. And then he has his line of, money, the Frankenstein of society.
He's the Frankenstein of souls. The destroyer of souls.
Now, you're not going to bring up those sordid business matters again, I hope.
I've just been going over last month's bills, and I find that you people have confused me with the Treasury Department.
Money. The Frankenstein monster that destroys souls.
Please don't say anything more about it. You're upsetting Carlo.
I always remember that quote too. I think Christian took my husband Christian. I think he loves that quote. He's says it sometimes when when we have money talks.
Yeah. See, so Carlo is very relatable. So it's
yes.
Oh, it's very surprising though that like, so I've heard of this that. Well, what is not surprising is this whole notion of like, here's rich people, they will sponsor an artist or sponsor, I don't know, investing in someone or an idea. And I get that part, but it's like, so Mrs. Bullock just has like this protege that's like walking around and the husband
her around everywhere.
Right. And he's young and
yeah.
And like, her husband's just okay.
He's not bad looking. He's very fashionable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's as good as mine, Sarah.
Anyway, no, he's great. He's likable, but I it's just an interesting setup where I'm like, the husband is the thing that bothers the husband the most, Mr. Bullock, is that he is just is eating all their food and spending their money. He doesn't seem to be disturbed by the fact that he's a young guy. Anyway.
Yeah, actually that's true. He's just like, you're taking all our money because he's just eating at the dinner table, happy as can be, the snacks and the hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
It's just always munching away.
Okay, so we have the two daughters in the Bullock family. They're probably in their early 20s. We have Cornelia, the older sister, who is honestly she's a little cold, a little heartless sometimes. Mm-hmm. She's pretty mean to Godfrey when she first meets him at the dump. And yeah, then we have Irene, who's kind of the opposite. She's very naive, childish, yet kind. As we were saying, she's very dramatic, over dramatic. She has her very long lines, and she's very, very infatuated with Godfrey.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
from the get-go.
From
she's
the
just
get-go.
like, I'm taking you home with me, forgotten man. And she's so warm and nice to Godfrey the whole time. It's like, I would think that she would get like in trouble in the sense of like, it's just so naive, but just very likable. Very likable character.
I would agree too. She's still really kind, even if she can also be oblivious, but she's really nice. And I think it feels like she is very mystified by Godfrey, and that leads a lot of her infatuation or love for him. Think about it. I think they're both kind of poetic. I think that's what it is.
That's true. The way they talk to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
They have, they're like on the same wavelength. Yeah, and I think also when she met Godfrey, he was mean to Cornelia, which is where I was like, yeah, he's on my side, because Cornelia is, like you mentioned, she's not very nice. So
yeah, she was very demanding of Godfrey, of like, just kind of come with me. How would you like to make $5? And then, and then he said no. But okay, so we have the maid who works for the Bullock family. Her name is Molly, and on Godfrey's first day working for the Bullocks, Molly warns Godfrey about how high maintenance and unpredictable the Bullocks are. And Molly also has a little bit of a crush on Godfrey, which I can't blame her.
I mean, William Powell, he's just a very witty man. So, and all his characters, yeah.
And last character we have that the movie is named after, we have Godfrey. He's very logical, sensible, and he is the most put together character out of everyone in the movie, even though he used to be homeless.
So, even though he's introduced as this homeless guy in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
He talks he's very educated, very witty. Does not, seems like that there's a hidden identity there in the beginning. Like, who is this guy?
Ooh. I wanted to mention it's Angelica, the mom. She has a pixie hangover. Yeah. On Godfrey's first day working.
Yeah, I was gonna put those in my notes too, because I was like, I remember, and I was like, what is happening? Like, what is wrong with this lady? She's like, there's little people everywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean there's little people everywhere? And now I get it. Like, it was a hangover. I really didn't. I guess when I was little, when I first saw it, like, oh, she sees little men everywhere. I was like, this is interesting. But yeah, it's a hangover. It's very dramatic.
I can't remember what I thought, but I do remember the scene a bit of like her in bed being kind of sick. But I feel like as an adult though, it still doesn't make that much sense to me. Yeah, because I had never had a pixie hangover before. I'm like, what did you drink the night before? Because isn't it like the absinthe or something that
maybe
they
she's
always
doing some other stuff on the side. I don't know. I mean,
anyway, yeah.
But he knows how to solve this problem.
Yeah.
He talks her through it, and what does he put again? He puts some
Worcester sauce. However you say that.
Yeah, Worcester.
Worcester.
Yeah, it's Worcester. In her morning juice. So I guess that's a solution. I have never had that for a hangover. Well, is that what you put in? That's what you put in Bloody Marys, right? Oh, that's why.
Maybe.
Right? And it was tomato juice.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's making a virgin Bloody Mary, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, he said that, like, because the point is the Worcester sauce distracts you from whatever ailment of the hangover that you currently have. It's supposed to be a distraction. So I don't think it's actually supposed to make you feel better. So anyway,
never mind.
I just thought it's funny. This is a pixie hangover.
Yeah, it made no sense, but it was okay. Like, that's how they introduce him as like a very that Godfrey can really take control of the situation, because his first task coming into the house is to make Angelica happy and feel better with her pixie hangover. So, and the scene. Oh, did you have?
No, that's all I had to say about the pixie hangover.
Okay.
I mean, we introduced the characters a little bit. We can talk a little bit about the middle section. Yeah. You ready? Yeah. Okay. So, as we mentioned, Irene is in love with Godfrey, and the family is up to all of their shenanigans. And basically, in the middle of the movie, Cornelia also ends up implicating Godfrey in a robbery, and that's what happens in the middle. So
she does not, and she does not like Godfrey.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
She's trying to get rid of him, even though he's a very likable guy.
I know he doesn't do like doesn't even do anything wrong. You know what it is? I think it's just that sister jealousy and stuff, that she doesn't like that Irene is happy, or I don't know. She's just bitter. She's bitter.
She's bitter chick, yeah.
So one of the highlights of this movie is definitely Irene's shenanigans, her quotes while she's chasing Godfrey. Let's see. I think I wrote some down. Oh, yeah. So early on in the movie, Godfrey he denies Irene, and she goes into a depression, saying all these ridiculous quotes, wearing black, and she says life is but an empty bubble.
Yes.
These flowers just came for you, miss. Where shall I put them?
What difference does it make where one puts flowers when one's heart is breaking?
Yes, miss. Shall I put them on the piano?
Life is but an empty bubble.
Yes. That is the Irene quote. I think that if you go online and you look at My Man Godfrey quotes, it's like the number one. Life is but an empty bubble.
It's a really good one.
She's so in love with Godfrey, and he just won't pay attention to her. Yeah.
He's just trying to keep his job, or at least, I don't know, trying to act very professional in the setting. But you still get the feeling that they are friends. He does like her, but I think he is just out of professionalism, just saying, like, calm down there.
Mm-hmm. And he also, because of his past, and you learn from when his best friend comes to a party at the Bullocks, and you learn that he was very much in love. And so he probably just trying to avoid love again. And so that's why he also rejecting her.
Yeah.
Let's get some more quotes in here, because I mentioned earlier that the reason why I liked the film was the quotes. It's just I'm cradling a kitten right now.
Oh, I get it.
This is why I'm like, okay, let's see.
Oh, here, I have one. She says, I wish I had a sense of humor, but I can never think of the right thing to say until everybody's gone home.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, here, I got some.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you could follow an intelligent conversation for a minute? I'll try. Oh, actually, that needs more context. Or it sounds like...
No, but that's still great. That's still great.
The way she says it, so I'll try. But she says it in a very confident way, like, oh, I know he's just messing with me. You know, that's why because their vibes are like, they're on the same wavelength. Or Godfrey loves me. He put me in the shower. And
that was really good. I love that. You know what we can do?
He put me in the shower.
I think we can probably just throw in like a minute or something of Carole Lombard just actually saying those quotes with William Powell. So I'll just throw that in.
You a member of this hunting party?
I was, but I'm not now. Are they all forgotten men, too?
Yes, I guess they are. Maybe. Why?
That's the funniest thing. I couldn't help but laugh. I've wanted to do that ever since I was 6 years old.
You wanted to do what?
Oh, push Cornelia in something, a pile of ashes or something. You know, that was Faithful George Wither. That isn't really his name, but we call him that because he gets in everybody's hair. His father's the broker.
That's very enlightening.
Cornelia thought she was going to win, and you pushed her in a pile of ashes.
Do you think you could follow an intelligent conversation for just a moment?
I'll try. All I have to say is some people will be sorry someday.
Well, naturally, everybody will be sorry someday.
For what?
Some people will know for what, and then it'll be too late.
This conversation is very confusing.
Now, Irene, you mustn't confuse Carlo. He's practicing.
Oh, anytime you're uncomfortable, you just let me know.
Well, thank you. Hasn't anyone ever told you about certain proprieties?
Oh, you use such lovely big words. I like big words. What does it mean?
Well, I'll try to simplify it. Hasn't your mother or anyone ever explained to you that some things are proper and some things are not?
No, she hasn't. She rambles on quite a bit, but then she never says anything.
In the middle of saying all these quotes, when basically, so there's a party, and Irene finds out from someone else who's attending the party that Godfrey was actually married, and this friend said that Godfrey had 5 children, and that's what sends her into her whole depression. And she ends up, she's so overdramatic that she ends up getting herself engaged to someone else. And the mom says, like, oh, who is it? Oh, wonderful. Again, another, just like completely.
obviously, this isn't her first rodeo. Like, she's gotten engaged on a whim,
and then
multiple times.
and then mom's like, just whatever makes her happy and everything.
That's cool. You know what we could do with this one, because we have really good quotes that really are what we really like about the movie, and Ochi Chernye also, because yes, Ochi Chernye is I just always I remember I didn't know what it meant or anything until like 2 years ago. I looked it up. But my whole life I would just be like, Ochi Chernye. It's like a really famous Russian song to myself randomly. And that's the only line I would sing, like Ochi Chernye. Like, and so it's a very catchy. So I would definitely put this also a link to this song.
Oh yeah, sure. We'll put that in the description. Yeah. You can listen to that song. It's a song that Carlo sings on the piano. Yes. And he's singing it. I love how also sometimes he'll just be playing, and I think he's eating an apple while he's singing it, or maybe that's a different scene. But he's just eating, playing, and then he's singing it, and he's very dramatic. Oh, and I feel like that's super quotable. Just that song lyric, but also Angelica, who says, "Oh, that's a beautiful song, Carlo. What's it called?"
What's it called? Ochi Chernye. He just keeps singing Ochi Chernye. He just keeps singing the same line. And there's many lines to the song. Yeah. Because I've heard that's the one line.
I think that maybe that's supposed to be the joke that, like, because the whole time is because the whole time is because Angelica defends Carlo, saying that, like, you can't rush genius, you can't, like, you know. So maybe that's supposed to be he's a good pianist, but like needs to work a little more, maybe, because he doesn't know the rest.
Takes a while for him to get it,
or he's practicing
on the first line,
or he's practicing the same part over and over.
He's perfecting the line.
Ochi Chernye, Ochi Chernye, Ochi Chernye, Ochi Chernye.
That's a very pretty tune, Carlo. What's the name of it?
Ochi Chernye.
Oh, that's the name, too. I thought it was just the words. I like it because the words are all the same. It makes it so easy to remember. That's probably why the Star Spangled Banner is so confusing. Nobody seems to know the words.
So that song, it's called Dark Eyes, and it's a very romantic. If you look at the lyrics, it's a very romantic. It says, black eyes, translation, black eyes, passionate eyes, burning in beautiful eyes, how I love you, how I fear you. It seems I met you in an unlucky hour. Oh, not for nothing are you darker than the deep. I see mourning for my soul in you. I see a triumphant flame in you, a poor heart immolated. I think that's how you say it. Immolated in it. Is that how you say it? Immolated. But I am not sad. I am not sorrowful. My fate is soothing to me. All that is best in life that God gave us in sacrifice, I return to the fiery eyes. So it's all about eyes.
Oh, I love it.
It's all about beautiful eyes.
So Ochi Chernye means dark eyes, or like,
yes.
Is that what? Oh.
Or black eyes, dark eyes, yeah. So it's supposed to be like a dark song.
Yeah. Oh, well, I took it as romantic, but like.
It is romantic. Yeah. Like a very like a sad romantic. Let's say that. It's very good. It's a sad romance.
Which I guess in the context of the movie, it seems like this is a very serious song, but this movie is not.
Like, this is a representation of like Carlo's serious artistic ability. So
yeah, that's true. That as well.
He sings it very dramatically, very seriously.
He's very moved by it. So I think in general, we kind of get the idea that My Man Godfrey is a very loud movie, because if you have all these characters, the whole family, they're all running around and have their really long quotes, and then you have Carlo on top of it singing every now and then. So it's very, I guess you could say, very lively, very entertaining.
Yeah, and it's not just loud in the sense of you have all these dramatic characters interacting. It's like literally like it's like you have scenes where it's loud because all of these people are talking at the same time and you don't know what's going on. Like Carlo at one point is like Angelica says, "Oh, cheer Irene up and act like you're a gorilla," and he just like starts acting like he's a gorilla. I'm like, what is happening? In this like really sophisticated mansion where these are all dressed up super nice outfits, and then he's acting like he's a gorilla. I'm like, what? So, see, that's an example of what happens in the house.
Right. And then you have Godfrey walk in with like refreshments, and he's kind of supposed to be us, just looking at everything
like the average guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's going on here? And
all these rich people, they're crazy.
Yeah. We can talk about the ending now, if you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm ready.
Spoiler zone, but here we go.
Oh, I like that spoiler zone.
So as we mentioned before, Cornelia implicated Godfrey in a robbery, and it was a robbery of her pearls. She basically planted the pearls in Godfrey's room, but they ended up going missing, right? And what ends up happening is Godfrey uses the pearls to save the family, because the family ends up going bankrupt, as Mr. Bullock informs everyone in one of his interventions that they're broke now. But Godfrey's here to save the day, the voice of reason.
Voice of reason.
The voice of reason, yeah. So basically he used the pearls so he didn't steal the pearls at all, but he knew that Cornelia implicated him in that. So when
she basically took her pearls and put it under his mattress and called the police.
Exactly.
And said, my pearls are under his mattress. And then they weren't.
Yeah. And
like,
then she went, "Where's my pearls?"
Yeah. And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Something's fishy is going on here. You were very sure the pearls were under his mattress."
Yeah.
So he uses those pearls. And yeah, I for one, like, before I was like, oh, you can like take expensive jewelry and invest and stuff. But now that like I understand investing a little more, I mean, he must have been really good. Or there was a time period when you could just like completely make a ton of pearls. Okay, let's look at how much pearls are worth. Let me look.
Maybe they were just some really good pearls.
Cost in the 30s. Because I think that if he saved like a family by investing these pearls and then buying them back,
well,
it must be worth like, let's see.
Well, he did that short stock where you bet against he bet against the family's stocks. Mm-hmm. And that can make a lot of money. That's all I know.
You know that?
Yeah. Haven't you heard of the GameStop?
Actually, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so that's what happened with that's why GameStop was in the news a while ago. So basically, when a company is like going out of business, you can bet or invest that it's going to like that it will fall or something. You can bet against it. And if you buy a lot of those shares or something, then and it does fall, you can make a lot of money. And that's what happened with GameStop. And it was this Redditor that told everyone, "Hey, short stock GameStop." And then all the actual rich people got really, really mad. But so anyway, so he used those pearls so the family did go bankrupt, but Godfrey short stocked. And so that basically he got them their money back and more. And then he used that to renovate the dump, the place where he used to live, and he built a restaurant there. But yeah, so we found out that he did have a wife at some point, and they did get divorced, and that left him with nothing. Apparently she took all the money, and he ended up homeless, but he ended up relating to a lot of the men that he was living nearby. And yeah, that basically helped the men that he was surrounded by, and also working as the butler. I think a combination of those two helped get him back on his feet.
So he was very depressed. He went to the river to jump in the river, and he met really nice homeless people who were fighting to survive. And he's like, I'm going to be a fighter too. So basically, he became more positive for like to be alive. And with Irene and the crazy house, he became even more positive. I think he just...
that house probably gave him a lot of perspective.
Yeah, he's like, it's like, oh, it's a whole new world. So,
but it is very interesting that, like, because you are right though that he would have to be a very good investor and very smart. Because I guess it's one thing to kind of get your money back. It's like, okay, so maybe say he did do that, right? But then he had enough to invest even more and build a whole restaurant and give the men that the homeless men that he lived with, to give them jobs and everything. That is a lot.
That's what I'm
more
saying.
than just that's
Like,
a lot. You're right.
I mean, like he's basically like the Bullocks now. He made their enough money for them and for himself, and I just
now he has
know.
a business.
Now he has a business.
Yeah.
So
But
somehow he
yeah.
whatever. That doesn't matter. It's not what we think about. We think about the ending, the very end of it, in Irene, and how she just basically. Huh.
Wait, before we get to the Irene
we do
again.
wanna think about it.
It's this. I think just that whole ending of of look, I brought everything, like this whole place used to be broken down and it was a dump and I brought it back and everyone has opportunity now. I think that was just kind of because of the Great Depression, and I think Godfrey was supposed to represent a bit of that and the struggles that people went through. So I think by having this kind of ending where things get worked out again and there's opportunity, it's just trying to leave it on a hopeful note that there is hope, even though maybe it is sadly a little wishful thinking, because it's not that easy. But I think they're trying to give the sentiment of we're going to get through this. So that's supposed to be very positive. But yes, I love the ending with Irene as well.
Yeah, Irene he has his money now, and she just goes to his restaurant, his new restaurant I think it's called The Dump. Is it called The Dump?
He called it The Dump. Yeah, very, very out of the box, I'm thinking.
And she brings her stuff, and she's like, okay, this looks like a really nice room. It'll be good for you and me. And he's like, what? And she's just like, we're getting married. And then I like the moment when, because he's very like, tries to be a little distant from her, right? And she says, and when she says, you can't look at me in the eyes and say like you don't care, and then he can't look at her, and it's very cute.
Why can't you let me alone?
Because you're my responsibility and someone has to take care of you.
I can take care of myself.
You can't look me in the eye and say that. You love me and you know it. You know, there's no sense in struggling against a thing when it's got you. It's got you, and that's all there is to it. It's got you.
Yeah. Scene is very cute. And then you're like, okay, he does like her. And they just, in the end, they just show someone is going to marry them in the restaurant.
Yeah, she brought
she's very...
What are they called? Oh my God! Someone to ordain the reverend. Yeah, she brought someone to perform the marriage.
Mm-hmm. So she knows what she wants, and she just goes, and that's what her character is throughout the whole film. So I like the ending. I think it's very cute. Yeah, it's just a feel good movie all around. So it cheers me up when I watch it. If you need to feel cheered up, I would definitely recommend this for feeling a little blue one night. This will definitely. No,
I agree completely. I mean, I was, because I know we watched it again for recording this podcast, and then a couple days later, I was like, maybe I should watch it again. Not because just for fun, like again, just because I hadn't seen it exactly. I hadn't seen it in so long. I'm just so amazed how like. I guess that's a sign of really, really good comedy, is that even though you already know the jokes, know the jokes, yet you still laugh out loud whenever it happens. I think that's the true test of comedy, and this movie passes that. Yeah,
it does pass it. And what was it again? On the awards, you said what was the top 40?
AFI number 44 on their 100 years, 100 laughs.
All right, so the American Film Institute has put this movie at number 44 for comedy. So definitely, we're not the only ones that enjoy this movie. I would say I would put this. Would you put this at the same level as Bringing Up Baby? I think.
No, I like Bringing Up Baby more.
You like it more?
Yeah, I do. Because
a little-
that
bit
could be biased.
better, but this one's really good too.
Yeah.
Um,
I think.
yeah, it would be hard for me to. Why do you like Bring Up Baby more?
Well, I was saying it might just be biased because I have even more memory of Bringing Up Baby, and just the whole. I think Bringing Up Baby has even more absurdity with the leopard.
Yeah,
And Katharine Hepburn, but I think all of these screwball comedies are very like top tier, or as they say, S tier. We should make I don't know if you've seen those tier rankings yet. Have you seen those? Like you can.
No.
I'll send you those later. Anyway, but no, I think everyone definitely has their own like preferred favorite like screwball comedy film. Anyone that is like into old movies, and I think it's fair game to claim any of them as the best or your favorite. But Godfrey is Godfrey is up there too.
on the top.
Yeah. Oh, I give the outro. Okay. We hope you enjoyed our podcast today. Check the description of this episode to find out what movie we'll be watching next, so you can join us for our chat next time. You can also check the description for links to any sources that we may have mentioned, or any clips or videos. And yeah, we hope you'll join us next time. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Lisa.
And this has been Gone with the Reel.